Hi there. It's been a little while, but I wanted to share a little bit about our tomato hoop house, or hoop house where we're growing our tomatoes right now. Just about how we're doing it, and some experiments we have going on this year. So we have 3 rows of tomatoes here. We have 1 row of determinants next to the beets, and then 2 rows of indeterminates between our carrots. And then we have 1 row of peppers. And what I wanted to try this year was to have carrots growing up alongside our tomatoes. And about the time that our tomatoes are setting fruit is then when I'll pull the carrots then to let the tomatoes have a little bit more room. Wow, where'd you find that one, Stefan? Wow, that's a nice one. So these carrots were sown, about the beginning of March. So it's been about a little over 3 months, and they take a long time to grow when you sow them that early. But I sowed 2 rows on the outside knowing that I was going to plant tomatoes in May in between those. And so then when I sowed the carrots, I put kale in between to harvest as baby greens. And then I pulled the kale out.
Should call them candy carrots.
Candy carrots, yeah.
So the kids go
I'll
crazy.
get you one, baby. Do you want to show?
Stefan, do you want to show where you pulled yours?
Do you want to show them what the carrots look like? That one's not so good. Here you go, Gabe. Want to show them that one? No, don't pull that off. Just wipe some of the dirt off. So I pulled the kale right around the time when I planted the tomatoes. And so the question to me was, how are the tomatoes going to do with the carrots on the sides? And the carrots were at a young enough stage to where they weren't too aggressive as far as sucking up nutrients from the middle of the row. That's why I just did 2 rows, where traditionally we do 4 rows of carrots. And so 2 rows allows room in the middle for something to grow there. And so I was curious to see how the tomatoes would do there. And with carrots, they tend to grow more downward and not so much out. And so it looks like so far that tomatoes are doing fairly well. Here we have, these are cherries, and these have taken off as if there's nothing really competing with them. I mean, these are planted out about 3 weeks ago, a little over 3 weeks ago, and I mean they're already almost 2.5, 3 feet tall. So I mean they took off like there's really nothing in the soil that's taken away from them. Now I did notice with the beets, my determinants with the beets, it seems like the tomatoes are a little bit slower taking off. And I just did 1 row of beets because I had a feeling that the beets are going to be more aggressive going outwards. They don't grow so much downwards. Their roots go more out, and so they're going to grow across the bed and potentially tie up some of the nutrients and moisture for the tomatoes. So it seems like the tomatoes are branching out enough now to get past the beets, but it took them a little bit to get going. But it looks like they're taking off fine now. And let's go over here to the peppers. The peppers have probably been the least successful. So I had 2 rows of carrots, just like the tomatoes here, and I put the peppers in between the 2 rows of carrots. But the peppers, they've grown a little bit, but you see they're kind of yellow. I think because they're a lot shorter, the carrots were actually kind of growing over top of them and shading them too much. And I think peppers like a little bit warmer soil as well, and the carrots with their foliage tend to keep the soil cooler, and so the peppers weren't taking off like the tomatoes were. So yeah, yesterday I came through here and I pulled all the carrots, detopped them, put them in a bin, washed them, put them in the cooler for CSA next week. So those will, instead of leaving the tops on and bunching them, I'm just gonna bag them, and they'll be just fine. They'll be a little bit smaller carrot, but they'll be more tender. And so I'm hoping now with the carrots out of there that the soil will warm up a little bit more and the peppers will start to take off. I mean, they look fine. They're just a little stunted, more than what I'd like to see. So overall, it seems like it's been a huge success, and it provides a way to put a lot of food and a lot of growth in the same amount of area that would be wasted if I just had tomatoes. Should we pull some more carrots for them? Show them what our carrots look like in here. Show them that one. And these again are done in beds that are not tilled, just compost. And these carrots, they're a little bit shorter, but you can see their tap roots are getting down. It's just this variety is a little bit shorter of a variety. But we like to grow it because they're about the sweetest that you can find out there for a summer carrot. So we grow them just for taste reasons. So it's a little bit about our tomato house, and hopefully we'll be able to share a little bit more later on this season what's going on here. Thanks for watching. Eat well, live well. You say bye?
Bye.